Francisco Giants baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
Baseball in March is a time for hope and optimism as 30 teams prepare for the upcoming season. In the Valley of the Sun, the A's are hoping for big things out of a new arrival.
That one's drilled to left. Cespedes, a home run.
While the Giants get back some key players and welcome some new faces, two Bay Area rivals meet in the Cactus League as it's the Giants and the A's from the desert next. Looking at the crowd here at Scottsdale Stadium as we get ready for exhibition baseball. And this afternoon here in the desert, it's the Oakland A's taking on your San Francisco Giants. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is Mike Krukow. Well, yeah, that's right. These games don't count. We always like to say that, but there's always something interesting to watch other than the game. And today, it's always fun to watch Tim Lincecum.
Well, Tim Lincecum will make his fourth start of the spring campaign, and his first two were not good. His last one, however, he started to find the strike zone with his fastball, and that'll be something we pay attention to today, his fastball command. He believes that is his key. He'll be able to go 75 or 80 pitches.
All right, Freddie Sanchez in the lineup. He'll be the designated hitter, and we've got baseball here on St. Patrick's Day. That's right, St. Patrick's Day. The fans will be having a good time this afternoon. Lineups. First pitch, next.
At the Dodge Show.
Giants baseball on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Grinds Coffee Pouches, the healthy alternative to tobacco. For professional baseball, visit getgrinds.com today.
Well, back here at Scottsdale Stadium as we are ready for exhibition baseball. Tim Lincecum coming into the playing area as he finishes up his warm-up pitches. And you notice St. Patrick's Day, the green lids for the Giants. All right, let's check in. Amy G is here. Amy, what's going on?
All right, Dwayne, thanks so much. Well, Buster Posey is not in today's lineup. Actually, guys, he's not even physically here at the stadium. Yesterday, the Giants stretched him out a bit, having him catch 5 innings. So today, they're giving him a break behind the dish and send him to a minor league facility where the plan is to get him at least 5 at-bats today and work on a little bit of base running. I spoke with manager Bruce Bochy earlier today, who told me that Buster has seemed to come out of this injury really well, not even thinking about the ankle. But the last hurdle for Buster to get over is running those bases. Dwayne?
All right, thanks, Amy. And Buster Posey obviously will be standing along the railing as he'll watch Tim Lincecum. His battery mate today is Eli Whiteside. All right, let's take a look at the A's lineup, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. It'll be Cowgill in the leadoff spot, followed by Eric Sogard. Coco Crisp, that's right, the very fine center fielder. Coco Crisp will be hitting third. Then it's Josh Reddick. Reddick will be the cleanup hitter. The designated hitter is Keila Kayahui. So Kayahui will be the designated hitter. Then it'll be Josh Donaldson, followed by Derek Barton. Derek Norris will do the catching. He'll hit 8th, and batting 9th and playing at second base will be Wes Timmons. This has long been a sellout from before spring training even started. It's St. Patrick's Day, and if you walk around downtown Old Scottsdale, it is packed. And there's a little confusion for Giants fans. They're not quite sure whether they should be wearing orange or green. Some are wearing both.
Well, it's tough if you're a Giants fan to wear green when you're playing the A's. And that's the case today. But the Giants are going to honor St. Patrick's Day with their green hats and a lot of good attitudes here in the ballpark, as you see some of the good attitudes. It's St. Patrick's Day, for crying out loud. It's become a great tradition in spring training across baseball, both here in the Cactus League and in the Grapefruit Leagues. You'll see teams put on their green.
So Lincecum leads the Giants out of the dugout. This is a split squad game for both teams. Most of the regulars are here for the Giants. Most of the regulars for the A's are in their home stadium in Phoenix.
See the numbers for Tim Lincecum. A much leaner Tim Lincecum as he shed about 15 pounds from last season. And he thought he could bulk up. It would improve his endurance. And in fact, it did just the opposite. So he's back to a leaner weight. He's much more agile this year than he was last year. And his first 3 outings, his first 2 outings, he struggled a bit with his fastball command, was up a high a lot, and he managed to get the fastball down in his last outing around the knees, and that really has been his key. Establish the fastball, establish the 2 grips, and get to where you can command it to both sides of the plate at the knees. And if you go up on purpose, elevate to change sight lines. It's very systematic as he has really grown up in this game. And to watch him prepare as he gets ready for the regular season, much different now than it was several years ago. Now he's got a plan. Before, he was just out there having fun.
So Lincecum doing the shoelaces before we see the very first pitch of this ball game. Both the A's and Giants, if you're keeping track of how they're doing record-wise, both are playing well here in the Cactus League. The A's are 11-3. The Giants are 10-4. Here's the first pitch of the ball game on its way to Colin Cowgill, and we are underway with a called strike. So Cowgill in the mix to secure one of the outfield spots for these Oakland A's. Takes another strike, and it's 0-2. Remember, the last time we saw Colin Cowgill, he was a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And a 3-pitch see you later.
Well, he's still looking for the off-speed pitch. Let's take a look at the defense playing today for the Giants behind Tim Lincecum. Starting in the Giants outfield to be Cabrera, Pagan, and Sherholtz. Likely to be your opening day lineup in the outfield. Fontenot, Sandoval on the left side of the infield. Terrio and Dominguez on the right side. And Eli Whiteside will be in the squad, putting down the sides.
Here's Eric Sogard. Sogard, young shortstop, takes the first pitch wide. We mentioned the good records for both teams and a high fastball 2-0. Giants had a good record last year. The team that really played poorly last year in the spring was the Arizona Diamondbacks. And look what happened to them. They end up winning the West. 2 balls and a strike to Sogard. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Ooh, good changeup. And this is the best rhythm that he has opened up with this spring. And everything's coming off the fastball.
Left center field, Pagan. 2 down. Here's Coco Crisp. One of the outfielders that the Giants showed plenty of interest in during the offseason. Coco Crisp, a free agent. But Coco Crisp did not land in a Giants uniform. He signed back with a team that he's played with the last couple of years. Very good player. Into right center field, and Pagan's going to have to really be on the move for this one. And it is a one-hopper off the wall. Crisp not hesitating. He is headed for 3, and he'll make it. And a 2-out triple for Coco Crisp.
Let's come a little lazy with the location on that fastball. Got it right up across the letters. And Crisp jumps all over it. Right out there, middle in, above the belt. Boom. And once he finds a gap, you know what he's thinking. He's thinking 3 bags. It's fun to watch him go from home to third when he finds a gap.
So here's Josh Reddick, another player acquired in the offseason by Billy Beane. Reddick, a former Red Sox. And he takes a first pitch strike, and it's 0-1. Reddick with a big swing and a miss. 0-2.
Lincecum, when it's middle of the season, he's got 4 pitches he'll rely upon. The fastball, more often than not, he'll go a 2-seam grip with it, a big curveball, the split, and a slider, which at times he can cut.
And just like that, Lincecum takes care of Reddick. 2 strikeouts, a triple. Giants are coming up. 0-0. Giants are coming up. And here's the Giants lineup brought to you by Wendy's. It'll go like this for Bruce Bochy. It'll be Angel Pagan in the leadoff spot. The DH is Freddie Sanchez. This will be his 5th game this spring, and he has not taken the field yet. It'll be Cabrera hitting 3rd, then Pablo Sandoval. Nate Scherholtz 5th, followed by Ryan Terrio. Chris Dominguez is at first base. He is hitting in the 7th slot, and is Fontenot in Whiteside.
On the hill today for the Oakland A's will be the left-hander Tommy Milone, 6 feet tall, 205-pounder. Got 26 days in the big leagues. It'll be our first chance to take a look at him. He's having a good spring.
And he is very much so in the mix to be one of the 5 starters for this A's team. And a called strike to Pagan. Sanchez to follow. And Pagan just barely checks his swing.
A's very active in the offseason, trading some of their big boys. Gio Gonzalez went to Washington Nationals, and Tommy Milone came as part of that deal. Good change up there. Brad Peacock, Derek Norris, A.J. Cole, and Tommy Milone for Gio Gonzalez and Rob Gilliam.
And a shot up the middle and a base hit for Pagan. And Pagan picks up his 8th hit of the spring. And the Giants will speed on the bases.
Let's take a look at the A's defensively behind Milone. Starting in their outfield will be Cowgill, Crisp, and Reddick. That's from left to right. Sogard, Donaldson on the left side, Timmons and Barton on the right side, and doing the catching will be Derek Norris. As Kipe said, A's with 11 wins this spring have enjoyed a good solid month of March. Bob Melvin, their skipper, really had to find out a lot about these young players that were acquired in the offseason by the way of the trades.
Pagan leading, he does not go, and Sanchez takes a fastball for a strike. Sanchez has had 14 at bats, 15 if you count a walk. And Pagan is picked off, and now they've called the balk. So none of it matters. It would have either been a stolen base or a balk, and Pagan is at second base.
Now, when you throw to first base, you have to imagine a 45-degree angle line that would go from the pitcher's mound right halfway between home and first. If you step on the home base side of that line, you've got to go home. And he stepped on the home base side of that line and went to first, and that is what caused the balk.
So Sanchez now behind in the count 0-1 as he takes a breaking ball low and in.
And in spring training, left-handers will really try and dangle that right foot as close to that line as they can, to cheat as much as they can, to be as deceptive as they can to the runner. You get called a balk down here, nobody really cares. That is definitely something that you learn with various umpires if you're a left-handed pitcher. What you can and cannot do is you stride towards first base in a pickoff throw.
And the pitch to Sanchez, a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Okay, let me ask you a question. As a former hitter in spring training, is the changeup the hardest thing to get used to?
Yeah, it's in September as well.
It's a great pitch.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's hit foul. You see that soft stuff, and then you get a fastball in, and that's just about what you do. It's called get into the protection mode.
Well, that's why you wear batting gloves, because that was not close to the sweet spot, unless your sweet spot's the label. And those are good placements with that breaking ball. I mean, he's going right where you need to go. In the dirt, back foot. You can see why the A's like this guy.
Pagan at second. And Sanchez shoots this one, and a line drive caught at third by Donaldson. Not hit extremely hard.
Well, he got him out his front foot a little bit, kind of hooked it down that line, but those are a lot of type of line drives that will fool a third baseman. Nice play by Donaldson.
Here's Melky Cabrera. Very lofty 406 average. He's got 3 home runs. He's got 9 RBIs. He's got 13 hits on the spring.
Well, the thing that's impressed us the most about Cabrera is the balance that he has shown for both sides of the play. We haven't seen him get fooled and get off that back foot at all. This will be a test because Malone's got a lot of off-speed stuff. And his whole thing is to try and get you off that back foot, get you reaching like he had in Freddie Sanchez's at bat.
So here's the switch hitting Melky Cabrera. Shoots one out of play, first base side. We've talked many times about Melky Cabrera and what a terrific season he had last year. The 201 hits, maybe the most impressive. 44 doubles. And Malone now out in front quickly. No balls and 2 strikes.
You know, that 200 hit level is one of those milestones that hitters really covet. And it says a lot about you as a hitter. You do not get 200 plus hits if you can't hit, if you don't have approach, if you don't have an idea on every pitch. Guys that get 200 hits, they don't give up at bats.
Pickoff play is on. And including in that thought, Mike, is you have to stay healthy. And you can't have a long slump. Or you can't have a couple of slumps. If you do, you're not going to pick up 200 hits. That's why Pete Rose never had a slump, ever.
I played with him 1 year in '82, and it didn't seem like he ever did.
Got him. Good pitch by Malone.
Knocked him up. Fastball inside corner. Great 0-2 pitch. We always talk about the paralysis fastball on the inside or the outside corner. Here, they set the target right there, slightly off the plate. He goes right between the legs of Derek Norris, the catcher. And Ron Kopel, the plate umpire, rings him up.
Pablo Sandoval, 7 for 30 this spring. And he takes a called strike. He's one of 3 pinch hitters that Malone is going to face here in the first inning. Pagan, Cabrera, and now Sandoval. Nate Schultz to follow. On the ground, and a nice play by Sogard. And that'll end the inning. So Sandoval hit it right on the nose. The Giants will strand 1 after 1 inning. Both teams stranding runners with runners in scoring position. 0-0. remaining new season ticket locations available for the 2012 season, and these tickets could be yours. Call 415-972-2298 to speak to a Giants representative, and you can review the locations that are still available. That's the number, 415-972-2298. Overcast here in Scottsdale. Today is supposed to be okay. Tomorrow, they said the weather is supposed to be really bad.
With 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, tonight is one of those nights where the weathermen in the Phoenix area earn their pay. Rest of the year, not so much.
Yeah, 2 times a year they worry about rain.
So Lincecum, no balls and 1 strike. Kayahui, 4 for 19, swings and pops it straight back, and it's 0-2. Lincecum, if you just joined us, struck out 2 in the first inning. He did give up a triple to Coco Crisp. Slowly hit, charging is Terrio. Lincecum covering. His Dominguez decided to be a spectator. And yeah, he's smiling now, but probably not a good idea to do that too many times. You don't see too many 4-1s on balls that are hit right at the second baseman.
Well, I mean, you get a young first baseman out there and he's in front of a big league crowd. Anything can happen.
You know what, Mike? A lot of guys would give up if you're the pitcher when you see it hit right at the second baseman.
Well, this is the time of year, though. You take so many PFPs that there's home runs hit the right field and guys break to cover first base.
You're right.
Well, Lincecum right there, realizing he's the only guy that's going to have the chance to make that play, and indeed he does.
This is Josh Donaldson. And Donaldson pops it high down the right field line. Dominguez.
That was about as well described as I've ever heard you say it, partner.
Smokes.
Nice play.
I did not have him catching that ball, by the way.
I mean, this is out there in JT Snow territory. He went a long ways. Now he's more comfortable catching fly balls and ground balls, but this was not an easy play. Nice pick. He's having fun.
Here's Derek Barton. Aubrey Huff was in the original lineup, scratched late. There's a line drive fair down the left field line, so Barton is going to have at least a double, and he will be in scoring position with 2 outs. We have a 3-man crew today. John Miller is on the KNBR side right now, but he'll be in the booth here with Mike innings 4, 5, and 6, and I'll take his spot on the radio side.
There's the big kahuna.
Yeah, it looks good.
He's excited.
John really only likes to be 1 or 2 places, at the park or on a boat.
That's right. Loves to travel by sea.
So he's happy because he's at the park. Here's Derek Norris. And Norris swings and misses, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Norris 3 for 12 in camp for the A's. Lincecum, a single look to second, and a fastball high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Barton with his lead at second. 1 and 2.
You know, at times it's hard to describe which pitch he's throwing. His specialty pitches, slider, the split, the curveball, they can all appear to be very similar. I think that's the slider. But the significant thing is all 3 pitches have downward break to them. And that's what makes him special.
Down the left field line, it got up. And Norris is going to knock in the first run of the game. It is Barton scores, and it's 1-0 Oakland.
Had some hang time on it. Looked to me like he went back with another slider and Got that right up around the letters. That's the thing about that's so frustrating about spring training is you get out there and you'll throw one good breaking ball and you come back and try and do it again and you hang it. You don't quite have the ability to repeat the stroke. And you see the location right up there above the bell, out over the plate away. Good pitch to hit. Easy pitch to defend.
I think I might. And a Bud Light.
Here's Wes Timmons. Timmons hooks one foul. We just got to note that Huff was scratched. Lower back tightness. Which is just about what I had this morning when I got out of bed.
Yeah, you have that just about every day, partner.
Lower back tightness. Yeah, I wasn't even a tall pitcher.
You were an infielder, man. You spent your life in a squat position.
No one to Timmons. Little pop-up. It'll be Terrio. And that'll end the inning. A run on 2 hits. A couple of doubles. 1-0 Oakland. Here all over the country. It's St. Patrick's Day, so we'd like to say happy St. Patrick's Day from Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. It's a 1-0 lead for the Oakland A's. A couple of bat boys we'd like to point out. This is Ben Slaughter. He's 9 years old. His mom, Stacy, Senior Vice President of Communications with the Giants. The one that didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night is Ben's older brother. That's Jake Slaughter. Jake, come on. Get with it. And also helping out, Jake and Ben. And we'll get this chance to show him later is Calvin Henninger, who is here with the Comcast people. Calvin's father, Kurt Henninger, Regional Senior Vice President of Comcast. Here's the pitch to Sherholtz, and it's a breaking ball, and it's low.
There's Calvin Henninger. He's got his game face on. Being a bat boy for the first time at a big league dugout will definitely do that. You'll hear things down there you never heard before.
That's right.
In a couple different languages, I might add.
We'll never forget the day that the mom walked her son down into the dugout as Sherholtz fouls it out of play. And she left him there, very apprehensive about leaving him there. And 2 minutes after she departed, Jeffrey Leonard went into one of his deals.
Yep.
And he proceeded to inform Mom that she had left us a boy and we were going to bring back a man.
He was a changed young man, that's for darn sure.
Somehow Mom wasn't buying it. Mom hadn't quite got out of earshot of the hack man. She turned around and almost came back and got him.
Yep.
It was either that or beat up hack man, one or the other. 1-2 pitch to Sherholtz is low and away, 2-2. I heard words I didn't even know existed from our man that day.
It's funny when you get a new bat boy, though. I mean, it's almost a routine you go through. First of all, he's got to go find the key to the batter's box. Then he's got to get the left-handed fungo. And then he's got to get the bucket full of knuckleballs. And that usually takes him about 4 innings. And in the meantime, they hear some amazing things down there. They don't say a whole lot.
2-2 pitch to Sherholtz is outside. You got to go tell him to go to the home plate umpire, find the key to the batter's box. The home plate umpire will send him to the first base umpire.
Yeah.
Then the second base umpire. Then the third base umpire. And by the time he gets back into the dugout, he has no idea what the heck is going on. Big chopper. Barton had that ground ball almost eat him up, but very nicely stays with it. 1 out.
Then you say, go get the fungo bat. Well, first of all, they don't know what a fungo bat is. Then you explain, it's that little skinny bat over there. And he goes, okay. And he brings it over. No. Go get the left-handed fungo bat. So then he heads back to the bat rack, and he is seriously looking for the left-handed fungo bat. And he doesn't really know what he's looking for. All part of the hazing process. But the bucket full of knuckleballs, that locks him up every time.
Here's Terrio. Into the hole. Sogard. 2 down. And here's Dominguez. Big fella, about 6'5".
He's impressive at batting practice. Dominguez, a former 3rd-round pick out of the University of Louisville. He does not lack power. 6'5", 235-pounder. Dominguez in 2010 at Augusta, he had a 21 home run year where he had 100 RBIs. Last year he had 18 in San Jose and AA Richmond combined with 85 RBIs.
Gets jammed, and Sogard will make the play, and that'll end the inning. Nice inning from Malone. Through 2 innings, 1-0 Oakland.
Week, April 16th through 18th, and it's a rematch for the 2010 National League Championship Series. Well, check out the dynamic deal. You can review reserve seat tickets. They're going to be sold for only $15. April 16th, the start time is 7:15, and it's Giants Magnet Schedule Night presented by AT&T. And April 18th is the Giants Annual Food Drive presented by Visa. First 5,000 fans to donate a food item or $5 receive a Giants reusable tote. Dynamic deal, view reserved. Tickets still available for $15 for all 3 games. Go to sfgiants.com to purchase tickets. And what do you say we check out Amy G?
All right, guys, well, the fun thing about spring training is we actually get to talk to these guys during the game. Joining me now, Ryan Vogelsong. And after a tough February with some bad news about an injured back, you had a really good day today. First time throwing against batters. Tell us how it went.
Yeah, it went really good. The biggest thing was coming out of it healthy and we did that. I don't think about my back much at all while I'm here at the field. It's more at home, playing with Ryder and stuff like that. I have to be more conscious about, home stuff. But at the field, it's doing pretty normal now. So it was good next step towards getting back.
Ray, tell the fans kind of what the next steps are for you, the schedule, and when maybe you hope to be throwing in some games.
Well, all I can tell you right now is I'm going to do another BP here in a couple days, and after that, it's up to the training staff and the Rags and Bochy. But everything's going normal. Everything's progressing good. We test this thing pretty hard on a daily basis with the rehab and stuff. So I don't foresee any more setbacks. So I try not to look too far ahead here in the process either. I take it one step at a time here, and hopefully this next one goes good, and then getting some games after that.
All right, best of luck to you. We always like to report pain-free. Gentlemen?
Pain-free it is. Sogard dribbling third base side. Sandoval will be a tough play, and he will make it. And he'll bring up Coco Crisp. So here's Coco Crisp. Crisp with a triple in the first inning. I mean, Vogelsong was the talk of camp last year.
He was the talk of camp all year. I mean, he had an unbelievable storybook year, and this year, I mean, this is a setback. But, I mean, to his credit, he's not panicking. I mean, he obviously wants to get right back on the horse after the season he had last year, but an injury is an injury, and he's 34 years old. I mean, he's been through them before, so you just have to be patient and ride it out and listen to your trainers. Dave Righetti, Bruce Bochy, you saw in that picture. Don't really have to calm them down, which you have to do with young players who have a tendency to panic a bit when you get an injury, especially in spring training. But Vogelsong knows that there's going to be plenty of innings this year, plenty of opportunity. But today was definitely a good report.
And Crisp out swinging in a 1-2-3 inning for Lincecum. For the Giants, it'll be Fontenot to lead things off.
Bay Area is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com.
All right, 1-0 here in Scottsdale. Let's go to Amy G. Amy?
Well, I was just prepping Rags that we were coming to us, and that was quick. All right. Dave Righetti, Giants pitching coach, and we just were able to talk to Ryan Vogelsong for a minute about his outing today, throwing against batters for the first time after his back injury. What Mike and Dwayne were saying about him is what's nice about an older pitcher going through an injury is there's some patience with this. He's not freaking out, and how helpful is that for him in his recovery?
It was big because he's an intense kid anyway. He's not a kid anymore, but he... that does take a lot of patience, but what he's been doing in the past, he's rehabbed before, unfortunately, a couple of times, and he's been through a lot of things. I think that adds up to all his patience that he has shown, and the way he threw the ball today, I was very pleased for him, just to see him out there and facing hitters again, so he's on his way back.
What is a realistic timetable for him to come back once the season starts?
Yeah, we got a couple of scenarios, but with a back injury, it's a little bit different from a guy. Normally, a guy will show up to spring training, we'll throw 3 or 4 bullpens, all the time with a day off in between. Then they'll throw a couple live BPs again with some days off in between, and then you got your ball games to build all the way up to 75, 80, 90, 100 pitches. So it does take time. So there's a couple scenarios, though, because of the off day. So we have a chance to him still be on the team maybe as a long guy for a couple of days. And the thing is, you can't build his arm up that way. He needs to be right as soon as he hits the ground running, so to speak. And I would say anywhere from the 10th to the 15th is a possibility in terms of a starter. But we'll see. He could stay here and throw an extra game. But we have scenarios, and we'll see what happens. Honestly, it goes with, just start to start down here and just get him back in shape.
Yeah. Cautious is always key.
Yeah, it is. It's spring training, too, and you hear that word a lot, but it's spring training is always, you're talking about health. It's funny when the season starts, you don't hear anybody talking about it anymore. Spring training, we just got to be healthy, but you do. We all have to be healthy, don't we? So
absolutely, it helps. So Dave, you guys reported, pitchers catchers reported back mid-February. You've had a chance now to get a great look at guys in the farm system. Tell us about maybe some young guys that you noticed who had some good stuff.
You know what? We actually told folks did too. There was a group of kids from A-ball. You don't get those very often, especially, I think, 6 of them. They handle themselves great. They didn't, I can't say that on TV, but they're not screwing around the clubhouse. And they were really good and diligent and hardworking. They threw strikes, and it was a pleasure to have them. They got a lot out of this camp, and because of that, and so did we. I think all the coaches down in the minor leagues should be proud of the way those guys handled themselves. And then, the Hembreys and the Koreas and Oteros have stood out. Machi. Wilman Rodriguez is throwing as good as I've seen him, but we know you're going to get that concentrated, great effort in camp in front of the big league manager and coaches sometimes. Excuse me, but we want these guys to, carry that to a full season and see what we got. But there's a lot of promise. There's no question about it, especially in the bullpen.
All right. Thanks so much. Giants pitching coach Dave Ricchetti. Always a pleasure. Dwayne, let's get it back to you.
All right. Thanks, Amy. Here's Pagan, who bounces it foul.
Really one of the things you look forward to every year. After a game, you go back to the hotel and you'll be having a beer. And Dave Ricchetti, one of the great storytellers. And he gets going, and it's just one good story after another. And he can hold an audience spellbound there for a long time.
Yeah, if he'd buy around once in a while, it'd be better. Uh-oh, trouble. I'll be hearing it from Candace.
Yes, you will. And the triplets.
Called him an ugly finder one time, and that was it. They didn't speak to me.
No, not for a whole year. But definitely one of the really good baseball men in the game.
Off the end of the bat, and this will retire the side. John Miller will be in to take you through innings 4, 5, and 6. I'll head over to the KNBR side. It's 1-0 Oakland.
Park Monday, April 2nd, and the new start time will be 7:35 p.m. Mark it down. It's also grab bag giveaway night. The Giants cleaned out their warehouse of leftover promo items. The first 10,000 fans will receive a free surprise giveaway. Items range from World Series trophies replicas to wearable blankets to a few stray bobbleheads. Plus, it's your first chance to see Buster Posey and the 2012 Giants in San Francisco. The dynamic deal starts at only $5 a ticket. Go on SFGGiantsCom for information. It is 1-0 Oakland. We're in the top of the fourth. Here now is John Miller.
All right, thanks, Mike. And there's a strike to the left-handed batting Josh Reddick, the former Red Sox outfielder. Reddick struck out his first time and just off the inside. So the count is a ball and a strike. Reddick, then Kila Kaiahue and Josh Donaldson do up for the Athletics. The middle of the batting order against Tim Lincecum. Oakland ahead 1-0. Fontenot boots it. Too late.
Had a little bit of a misdirect as the ball was coming to Fontenot. Took a hop and just sort of went away from him, and it kind of got away from the sweet spot of the glove. And once it got a little bit of a bobble, no chance, as Riddick runs pretty good.
It was almost like he was expecting something worse on that hop than what he got.
And that's the one thing you can't fall victim to down here as an infielder. You cannot anticipate a bad hop ever. You always have to anticipate a good hop.
Well, I don't think he was anticipating. I think his body was the one saying, "Get out of here, let's go."
His feet were flat. He was on his heels.
Here's the pitch now to Kaiahue, the former Kansas City Royals prospect, and it is ball one. Kaiahue grounded out to second his first time. 1-0. The Athletics are leading. I was talking over on the radio side about a very nice article about the tandem of Tim Lincecum and Matt Cain. Become a beautiful partnership in that Giants rotation as Reddick is back to the bag at first. Jerry Krasnick on ESPN.com wrote it in, I think it was yesterday on the internet. But, you know, the Giants, you go back into the 60s, you had Marichal and Perry. That was a great tandem in the Giants rotation. Two aces at the top of the rotation. And over the years, the Giants have had some years here and there and brief times, and where they've had some excellence at the top of the rotation like that with at least a couple of guys. 93.
Billy Swift, yeah. John Burkett.
Both 20-game winners that year. Helped the Giants win 103 games. Lincecum misses with that breaking ball, and it's 2-0. Anyway, of course, part of the column was about whether or not the Giants would be able to keep the two together beyond this year. Cain with the possibility of being a free agent. Negotiations are being undertaken right now between the Giants and Cain's agents. 2-0 the count. And there's a changeup, a swing and a miss. That really fooled him, so it ended up in the dirt. 2-1. But in the column, he had some stories that each told about the other. And Lincecum said one of his first memories was when he first came to the clubhouse when the Giants called him up. And there was Matt Cain getting ready, doing his stretching, going through his preparations for the game that night. That's a foul on the third base side. 2-2 the count to Kaiahue. Anyway, he said that there was Matt Cain, and he was so impressed that, wow, he's here already. And yet he's younger than Tim Lincecum. And he says he's already doing and living the dream, my dream. Then he got to know Cain in their first full year, 08. Cain was 8-14 with the worst run support of any pitcher in baseball. He said never heard a word from it from Cain. Nice throw by Whiteside. And Fontenot tags out Reddick.
Whiteside's having an excellent season here in spring, throwing out runners. Tell his arm is healed up. It bothered him all last season. Started last spring in the elbow. But now, throwing free and easy, no pain. That's a perfect strike. Hop, step, perfect throw. Bang, grab some pine meat. Easy call for second base umpire Tim McClellan.
Deep left center. Cabrera. And that one is gone. Or is it? No. The second base umpire is signaling fan interference. Tim McClellan says the fan interfered with it. They're only going to give him a double. Bob Melvin. Is that Bob Melvin?
Indeed it is, and he was about 2 steps out of the dugout. You can see the fan reaching over. I mean, it was a great play by the fan. A's fan trying to help out his hero. But Tim McClellan, the veteran umpire, making the play right. That guy leaned on. It was a good grab.
So it is a double for Kaiahue. A runner at second with 1 out. Lincecum is high with ball 1 to Donaldson.
Now you can see, if you have HD, fan reaching over, making a one-handed snag.
The curveball hangs high.
There you go.
Clearly fan interference.
Clearly a great play.
A fan of Eck, Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley, former great closer of the Athletics. 2-1 the count now to Josh Donaldson. Anyway, check out this column about Lincecum and Kane. They both tell stories about each other. Here's the 2-1 pitch into right field. And Sherholtz. And Kaiahue will not test the strong arm of Nate Sherholtz. So Donaldson is retired, 2 down. 1-0 Oakland ahead here in the 4th inning. And now Derek Barton will come up.
You know, and so oftentimes you'll see 2 young pitchers that are coming up through the same organization. And they're competitive with one another as to wanting that #1 spot. But with these 2 guys, it's just mutual admiration. They enjoy being around each other. They admire each other's career, each other's ability. And Kane really is the protector, physically. If anybody has any idea of getting close to doing damage to Tim Lincecum, you got to go through Kane. And that would not be easy.
And there's a called strike down to Derek Barton, who doubled down the left field line and scored the game's only run back in the 2nd inning. 1-0. Oakland is ahead. Well, and I think that's part of... They both, I think, it's not just been a beautiful partnership for the Giants, but I think the 2 of them really enjoy this these dual aces and being at the top of that rotation. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Derek Barton. But Lincecum was asked, and Lincecum is a student of baseball history. He kind of grew up with that with his dad, Chris. Lincecum said that if he could have played in any other era in baseball history, he said he probably would take the 70s. And a good changeup. 1 ball and 2 strikes. As he said, there were guys in the 70s who were kind of weirder and more unorthodox. He says, I would have fit right in.
Yes, you would have.
But he thought Kane would have been more at home in the 50s with all those, and this is a quote, with all those big old corn-fed guys who went about their business. Base hit to right. Sherholtz has the strong arm. Running through the stop sign is Kaiahue, and he is out by plenty.
Wow.
Mike Gallego said, don't go. I know this guy. He's got a pretty good arm. And now Kaiahue knows as well. Nice play by Nate Sherholtz. The inning is over.
Scottsdale Stadium, the Oakland A's have a 1-run lead over the Giants. It is the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Emmy Award-winning series Inside the Clubhouse is back for another year, courtesy of SFG Productions. It's a good one, guys, and it debuted this afternoon, but if you missed it, don't worry about it. It's on again tonight at 10 p.m. right here on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. You're going to catch up with Brandon Crawford getting ready for spring training, spend a little time with former Giants Will Clark and Jeff Kent, and you're going to get a ride along with that guy right there, Sergio Romo. Always sign in for the fans. Great guy. Tonight at 10 o'clock right here on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Gentlemen?
All right, Amy, thanks. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow, Dwayne Kuiper. Kuiper is over on the radio side now as we head to the Giants half of the 4th inning. They trail 1-0. Freddie Sanchez, Melky Cabrera, and Pablo Sandoval coming up.
Hey, you might want to check out that piece, especially if Sergio Romo's got anything to do with it. He's pretty colorful, to say the least. I know when he first got to the big leagues, he showed up at the ballpark with his Mazda that had about 600,000 miles on it. I go, nice car. He goes, you my Maserati? So that's what he called his Mazda. It wasn't just a simple Mazda. If you put 600,000 miles on a car, you can call it a Maserati. He is very entertaining.
600,000
at least.
So you mean somewhere he may have lost count?
I think somewhere the odometer quit turning.
Freddie Sanchez leads off for the Giants against Tommy Malone of the Athletics, and a foul out of play off the right field side. 1-0, Oakland ahead. Tim Lincecum saw the Giants make an error behind him in the 4th inning. Kayahue hit a double and a fan interference, then a single by Derek Barton as the count goes to 0-2. And yet Oakland did not score. Eli Whiteside helped out. He threw out Reddick, tried to steal second early in the inning. And then Nate Sherholtz gunning down Kayahue at the plate, tried to score to end the inning. So Oakland had a lot of base runners there against Lincecum and came up empty. The Giants helping themselves in other ways. 1-0, the Athletics leading. The only run of the game scored in the 2nd inning. Giants have another game tonight here in the Valley of the Sun, on the west side of the Valley in Glendale against the Dodgers. There's a ball too low. Change up from Malone. 2-2 the count. Melky Cabrera is on deck. Giants have only one hit. That was from Angel Pagan, the first batter faced by number 57, Malone. Nobody has reached since. Off the foot, 2-2.
Well, Malone's game is keeping a hitter off balance, and he's really mixed his speeds well. He's got a good idea of speed, movement. He's got command of it. He's used both sides of the plate. You can see why they are excited about this guy.
Check swing, fastball. And the count is 3-2. Malone out of USC is a 10th round draft choice of the Washington Nationals. And then he was part of the Gio Gonzalez trade this offseason, coming to Oakland from Washington. 3-2 the count.
Oh yeah. It is that day. Wear your green on St. Pat's Day.
That is a base hit.
Well, that's what Freddie Sanchez can do so well. Use the middle of the diamond, especially with 2 strikes. Not a lot of lower body. Basically, get that foot down early, and then just use your hands. You'll see him a lot get on that front foot. Watch the weight sort of slide to the front and reach, but the hands stay back. And because he can use that middle of the diamond, he can do exactly what he did: beat you, even though you take his legs out.
8-pitch battle between Sanchez and Malone. Now here's Melky Cabrera. Switch hitter, batting right-handed. Struck out looking his first time. Right up the middle. And off the glove of Timmons. Sanchez to third. Cabrera for second. The weak arm of Coco Crisp. It's a double for Melky Cabrera. Melky runs pretty well.
I think he caught a spike a little bit. You look at a guy going into a bag late. If he catches a spike, you always worry about a leg injury. But good instinctive anticipation from Cabrera. I like the way he hit that bag.
Well, we'll keep an eye on him. See how he looks. If he has to take off and start running, Freddie Sanchez going to third. Great effort by Wes Timmons, the second baseman. But ultimately, he could not get that ball into the glove. So here is Pablo Sandoval. Middle infield deep. Giants are trailing 1-0. Second and third, nobody out. Pablo got something a little bit off speed, chased it out of the strike zone. It's 0-1.
You know, as guys try to get their mechanics right down here in spring training, you talk about rhythm as a pitcher, rhythm as a hitter. Early on in spring, Pablo Sandoval was trying to just absolutely knock the cover off the ball, and I think he was swinging a bit too hard. He's starting to take a little swing out, get a little more bat head control.
One strike to count. 0-2.
Malone going right back in there, tied at the belt with a little bit of a cut on it.
This is a spot where Pablo does not want to strike out. A ground ball could mean a run. A fly ball hit well enough could mean a run. Malone, for his part, he's going strikeout. Nate Sherholtz on deck, a lefty. Pablo along the right field line, medium deep. Here comes the throw by Reddick, and offline and missed by Norris. Scoring is Freddie Sanchez, and also moving up with some heads-up base running, Melky Cabrera, who is tagged up and ready to go. 1-1 the score.
Well, they'd have had him if it's had a little more accuracy on it. Then they're coming up with a pretty strong throw. Just took Norris, the catcher, up the third base line, and it gave Freddie Sanchez a little bit of a window to go around him. But that was a throw that had plenty of arm strength on it.
If it had been at the plate, he looked like he would have been out by 10 feet.
At least.
So here's Nate Sherholtz. The infield comes in for Oakland. Off the outside with that cut, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. You see how they're playing it. So Nate also now could get an RBI without getting a hit. Pablo gets the run in with the fly ball on an 0-2 pitch. And that breaky ball down and away, 2-0. Ryan Terrio on deck. Sherholtz grounded out to first his first time. Very strong wind blowing straight out. Right now blowing straight out towards center field here at Scottsdale Stadium. Chasing that high one in the count, 2-1. You see the flag out, or the flags out in center, just to the left of straightaway. Heading out toward the McDowell Mountains out there.
Definitely a wind that will favor the hitter.
Inside, 3-1. Freddie Sanchez in an 8-pitch battle started the inning with a single. Cabrera hit a double just off the glove of the diving second baseman, and then the fly ball by Pablo Sandoval for a run. 1 out. On the outside corner, strike 2.
This little cut fastball located perfectly. It's one of the counts you look at in spring training. You see how a guy throws a 2-0 pitch, a 3-1 pitch. If he starts to locate those pitches on the corner, you know he's starting to get a pretty good idea of his release point.
3-2. Sherholtz fighting one off. Still 3-2. Giants and A's will be playing at AT Park at the end of the spring. Final 3 exhibition games for both ball clubs will be in the Bay Area. 2 in San Francisco, 1 in Oakland. That one is hit well. Coco Crisp over his head. Cabrera eases home on a double for Nate Sherholtz. He got one up into that wind and hit it hard. Besides, just to the right of the 430-foot marker in center field, it's 2-1 Giants.
Nice 3-2 at bat. Not a whole lot of swing he takes out here. What I like about Nate is he's got a flat swing. He gives you a chance to have contact because of how long his bat stays in that zone. And here, taking advantage of that wind blowing out the center. I mean, normally that's a can of corn, fly ball, sack fly, go get it. But this wind today, not a whole lot Coco Crisp can do.
So now Ryan Terrio. The curveball down and in, ball one. Nate Scherholtz, his first triple of the spring. And he picks up his 4th RBI. Well, the Giants are 2 runs home. Still only 1 out and a runner in scoring position. Terrio grounded out to short his first time. 2-0. First base open. The rookie Chris Dominguez is on deck. You got a veteran up there now, Terrio. And Terrio has been in his big league career a guy who has always hit left-handers especially well. The splits almost invariably show him much better against the lefties than the righties.
You know, and I think when you see that, it tells you the guy's got a nice opposite field approach. And against lefties, you'll see Terrio use the right side of the field a lot. The type of hitter really lets the ball get in deep to him.
3-0. Terrio signed by the Giants. He was a free agent in late January. Last year, 310 against the lefties as a Cardinal. He won himself a World Series ring in the process. 256 against righties. That's a strike on the outside. 3-1.
That's pretty cool about Fontenot. Terrio played at LSU, were national champions. They had rings there, of course. And then now that they've had professional careers, both guys have been on world championship teams. That's a lot of history for 2 guys. Good history.
3-2.
Got a little greedy with that swing.
Terrio is a guy who is kind of a free swinger. That was the 59th pitch from Malone, by the way. And Oakland has action going in its bullpen. Tim Lincecum has thrown 50 pitches in 4 innings for the Giants. The Giants bullpen right now is quiet. Scherholtz at second. 1 out. That'll go out of play down the right field line. 3-2. Now, Terrio and Fontenot used to play against each other as kids. High school and summer leagues and whatnot down in Louisiana. Then in the Cubs organization. Teammates with the Cubs as well. And each with a World Series ring with different clubs. Fontenot is a Giant in the big leagues. 3-2. Back in left field. Cowgill. It's off the wall. It is over the wall. A home run. So Ryan Terrio muscles up. That's not usually a big part of his game. A 2-run homer after a long battle on a 3-2 pitch, and it's 4-1 Giants.
Back-to-back 3-2 at-bats with Scherholtz coming up big with a double, and now Terrio going long. Those are the type of at-bats that can crush a pitcher in spring training just because it takes a lot of pitches out of him. And Norris, the catcher, going out there to talk to Malone, try and calm him down a little bit. But these are the type of at-bats, if you're Bam Bam Mullins, the Giants hitting instructor, you're really drooling with, because in order to have that type of production and that type of count, you got to have an idea of your swing. And that's what you're looking for in spring training.
Terrio had 1 home run last year as a Cardinal in 442 official at-bats and 17 career home runs. His big muscular year was 2009 with the Cubs. He hit 7 in 602 at-bats as Dominguez fouls one off the right field line, strike 2. So the home run is not usually a big part of Terrio's game.
Unless it's blowing out 30 miles an hour in spring training.
Well, he's talking it over with Bam Bam Mullins. There's that slow curveball to strike out the rookie Dominguez.
Well, tonight at 6 p.m., check out the Warriors as they take on the Utah Jazz. Pregame live at 5:30 p.m. right here on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Back-to-back games for the Warriors as they travel to Utah to face the Jazz. Complete coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNBayArea.com.
Fontenot. It's 0-1. Terrio with his first spring training home run. And the first home run of this game by anybody. 1 ball, 1 strike to Fontenot, who grounded out to second. His first time. Fontenot, he's not a big guy either, but in his career, he's displayed a lot more power than Theriot. And that slider is in the dirt. 2-1. 4 runs in for the Giants here in the 4th inning. The last 2 off the bat of that man, Ryan Theriot. Theriot listed at 5'11". Do you think he's actually 5'11"?
Well, they list Fontenot at 5'9". I don't think he's 5'9" either. I think they lie down there at LSU.
2-2 the count. And the curve is off the outside. Full count now. The Giants have had some good results on 3 and 2 pitches in this inning. When Theriot hit that ball, I think he thought he had a home run. And fastball right to the shortstop. Sogard with the grab. The inning is over. 4 runs for the Giants. Ryan Theriot knocks in the final 2. As Russ Hodges used to say, tell it bye-bye, baby. With a 4-1 lead. Opening day coming up April the 6th, the Giants home opener April 13th, and with interest extremely high again here in 2012. We want to tell you about how quickly tickets are selling, and individual game tickets are available right now, and you might want to get tickets while you still can for the first visit of the Phillies. The Phillies, Giants and Phillies played each other for the National League pennant back in 2010 with a memorable series. Chase Utley and company, and that will be April 16th through the 18th at AT Park. Good seats are still available for that series at sfgiants.com. Tim Lincecum with an 0-1 count to Derek Norris, the catcher, and now it's 0-2. Lincecum has been throwing a lot of first pitch strikes. He's been ahead of just about everybody.
Used a lot of first pitch fastballs too.
14 of the 17 hitters faced, he's thrown a first pitch strike. 1-2 the count. 4-1 Giants here in the 5th inning. Derek Norris doubled home the Oakland run back in the 2nd inning. Curveball. Pablo Sandoval plays the high hop. A strong throw. Norris is a catcher, but he runs pretty well. 1 away. When you were a big leaguer with the Giants, did you guys have the kangaroo court?
That was a big part of our clubhouse, and it was hysterical. It was the one thing you look forward to. Bob Brimley was one of the funniest guys I've ever played with, and he would usually be one of the judges, and it was a great way to have a few laughs, but get a few points across to guys that needed to hear that they needed to make a few changes in their game. If they were late for the bus, if they were not working hard. I mean, you find them in Kangaroo Court, and it was a great venue to get those things across, especially the younger players. It also was a great way to bring new guys into the fold. I mean, I know when Kevin Mitchell showed up in 1987, he had the first road trip he showed up. It was one of those road trips back to the Midwest was so hot. It was 95 degrees plus. He went to Chicago and Cincinnati or whatever it was. Houston.
This is Terrio. And he throws out Wes Timmons. 2 down. A couple of ground outs to start the inning, induced by Lincecum.
And Mitchell showed up, and he had all this leather that he was wearing. He had like 4 or 5 complete outfits. Leather jackets, leather pants, vest. It was all leather. And he'd get on the bus, and he would be sweltering, and he'd be moaning and groaning. Well, we put him in the book and fined him for endangering the species of 11 animals with his wardrobe. And he laughed louder than anybody. But it was a great way for him to just sort of feel like he was one of the guys. And so I always thought with certain teams it was a good thing, but other teams it doesn't work.
Colin Cowgill, the leadoff man, 2 down, nobody on. Lincecum misses with ball 1. Well, I bring that up because, and you mentioned Kevin Mitchell, by the way. He came to the Giants in a big midseason trade that also brought Dave Dravecky to the Giants. They both came in from the Padres. Center field hit well and in the wind. Pagan, it sails right over his head and one hop up to the 430 marker. And heading for third is Cowgill, and he's going to make it a triple. Second triple of the game for the Athletics. 2 down triple keeps the inning going for Eric Sogard to face Lincecum. But anyway, Dave Dravecky was here the other day with Hall of Famer Gaylord Perry and the great Hall of Famers, the sluggers, Willie McCovey, and of course Willie Mays. And they were invited into the Giants clubhouse before the game here last Sunday, the 4 of them. Orlando Cepeda had to miss the session, although he was hoping to be here. He had to be at home with an illness in the family. Lincecum with another first pitch strike, and it's 0-1 to Sogard. And that was really an interesting time in the Giants clubhouse because there were a lot of great personalities and great young players and great talents in that Giants clubhouse, but they all paid rapt attention to McCovey, Mays, Gaylord Perry, and Dave Dravecky. But Gaylord actually broached the subject at the Kangaroo Court. He thought that he hoped that they might consider that he thought it might be fun for them. And he brought some of the same things that you mentioned up. McCovey used to be as McCovey said, the judge and the jury.
That's right.
And he said he took a lot of money from guys in those Kangaroo Court sessions. The inning is over. The Giants ahead 4-1 as we head to the last of the 5th. Lincecum with 5 innings in the book. And I had the great honor of being a part of the festivities down in the clubhouse. So it was McCovey, Mays, Gaylord. Gaylord got a new look now. He looks pretty good. He's taking off some weight, and he's got the Gaylord Perry. A little Van Gogh, very distinguished looking. But McCovey said that he fined a lot of guys. He took a lot of money. And then he said that actually Willie Mays ended up paying most of the fines for the young guys himself.
You know what impressed me when you get to know all those guys that were on those 60s Giants teams? This is just how close they were and how much they enjoyed playing with one another. And that's the one similarity that this group, this 2010, 11, 12 team, really reminds me of those first early Giants teams, is they really like each other. They like playing with each other.
Well, Dave Dravecky had his story, of course. He came to the Giants in midseason in '87 to help get the Giants to the World Series. And he pitched a beautiful game in his first start, won that one. The Giants got to the League Championship Series, and he won Game 2 in the League Championship Series against the Cardinals with a shutout. And then the Giants had 3-2 in the League Championship Series. He pitched Game 6, gave up 1 run which more often than not would have been good enough to have gotten the Giants to that World Series. But the Giants lost that game 1-0.
John Tudor. Yeah, it was two left-handers going at each other, and Dravecky was brilliant. He outpitched him, and we hit everything hard right at somebody all night long, and it was a frustrating game. It just was not meant to be, but you can't hang anything on Dravecky. He was something else in that series.
A new pitcher for the Athletics, the right-hander, Andrew Carignan. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. C-A-R-I-G-N-A-N. Carignan. And for the Giants, it'll be Eli Whiteside to lead off, then the top of the order, Angel Pagan and Freddie Sanchez. I think part of the festivities last Sunday was some of the great stars and Hall of Famers of the Giants past appearing before some of these great stars of the Giants current ball club. Was that the Giants have had a long and storied history. This will be the 130th season of Giants baseball. Some of the greatest players who've ever played the games have played with the Giants. And of course, Mays first on that list. Here's the long throw from Donaldson, and there is one away. Amy G is with us down in the dugout.
All right, thanks, John. You're talking about some of the future stars, and we might be looking at one right here with Gregor Blanco. We've certainly been reading so much about you this spring training as you are vying for a spot in the outfield with the Giants. Bruce Bochy quoted the other day saying you're making the decision very difficult for him. Tell us a little bit about your game and the tools that you have.
Well, first of all, thank you for bringing me here, and I'm really glad to be with the Giants. And I'm just having an amazing time here with these guys, a group of guys, and they are really helping me to do what I'm doing right now. You know, I think part of my game is just be on the bases, be aggressive, take the extra base, and run scores, and I try to help the team win. You know, I think playing a good defense and be part of the small game is me. You know, and that's what I've been trying to do.
And Gregor's being humble because you actually lead the majors right now with 6 steals. You're very fast on the base pass, and you are here with a good friend in Melky Cabrera. You played in Atlanta with him, in Kansas City, and we talked about a comfort factor being here with Melky. How much has that helped?
A lot. I mean, since I saw Melky, I get here the February 15, and since I see Melky, I think it's been a part of me, and Pablo Sandoval helped me a lot. You know, I think it's really important for me to have a guy like him in the team. Even Melky, you know, they bring me to the team, and everybody's been really nice. Lindsey Kum and it's great. You know, it's really awesome to be here, and I'm just glad. You know.
We were just watching. Another reason you're probably glad is some of the caliber of player that have been a San Francisco Giant or a Giant in general. Willie Mays, Willie McCovey. What is it like for you in the storied Latin history of this organization as well? What is it like for you to be around those legendary guys?
It's awesome. It's so amazing. Like, I don't know, I just been here for a couple of weeks, and I think a lot of good things. You know, I think the chemistry of the team, and I see all the veteran guys, and they support everybody here. They're trying to build a big group of guys that can help the team and win the World Series. I think we have a great team, and hopefully we do it.
All right, John, Gregor was the MVP of the Venezuela Winter Ball League this past winter. He's one to watch. Let's get back up to you.
All right, thanks, Amy. And Angel Pagan has hit a home run. And the Giants now with a 5-1 lead. And by the way, we double-checked the name of the new Oakland pitcher is pronounced Carrigan. He's one of those guys with a silent N. So Carrigan on the hill for the Athletics. There's Melky Cabrera, who has struck out and doubled. Angel Pagan hit one very well to right field. And he says that he hits the ball with more power as a right-handed hitter than as a lefty, but he hit that one pretty well as a lefty. He's 2 for 3 today. Gregor Blanco, who just visited with Amy G, He has been setting the Cactus League on fire down here. And it's not just his .438 batting average, but Tim Flannery told me that he thought Blanco may be the best runner already in camp here with the Giants. Not maybe the most speed, but just the best intuitive base runners. Cabrera has a little argument with the plate umpire, Ron Culpa, after being called out on strikes. Bye-bye, baby. Angel Pagan, 5-1 Giants.
Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by the Moskowitz LLP, a tax law firm. For a confidential consultation, call Moskowitz LLP at 888-TAX-DEAL.
The CSNBayArea.com has a new insider. Stay up to date on everything Giants with Andrew Baggerly. Bags will be traveling with the team, and you can follow Bags on Twitter at CSNBags. That's with 2 G's. Log on to Giants Talk on CSNBayArea.com all season long to read Andrew's news and notes on the San Francisco Giants. He's a tremendous ad. We enjoyed him all last year with the San Jose Mercury News. He is now part of our family at the CSN Bay Area, so he'll be fantastic. Enjoy him.
And he is a great reason, as Lincecum throws a called strike to Coco Crisp, is a great reason to go online to CSN.com or CSNBayArea.com and all that great info that he used to provide to San Jose Mercury readers, the Bay Area News Group readers, he's providing at CSNBayArea.com. As Chris Stewart replaces Eli Whiteside behind the plate. Change for the Giants, working with Lincecum here as we start the 6th inning.
You know, if
just
you
got a piece of that one.
You're watching a transition, which you'll never see during the regular season unless there's an injury, where you have a catcher start a game, catch 5 innings, and in the middle of the game you'll bring in another catcher, especially with an ace like Lincecum. But when you have Whiteside or Stewart flip-flop as they have today, there isn't much change. Both guys very, very calm, good, solid targets, and their game calling is exceptional.
Now go out of play off the third base side. Also a new left fielder in the game for the Giants, Juan Perez. He replaced Melky Cabrera. There he is, Juan.
That is really going to be one of the more difficult decisions surrounding this team this spring as to what they're going to do in the catching position.
Golf that one. Here's Dominguez. He's got it, and that's his second. Excellent play going down the right field line for a pop-up on a windy day.
Well, we said it earlier in the broadcast, John, as you mentioned, this is his second one. It really reminded you of JT Snow. As a first baseman, I thought could cover right field line pop-ups better than anybody. But Dominguez makes it look easy. I mean, he glides over there like he's a right fielder. And he's a 6'5", 235 dove as he sails over there.
And it seemed to be sort of a joyful exercise for him as well.
It didn't look like he was strained at all.
He raced down there, made it look easy, and then had a big smile on his face like, yeah, I love it when they hit balls like that. 1-1 the count to Josh Reddick. Reddick has struck out and reached on an error by Mike Fontenot. Reddick hitting cleanup for this Oakland split squad today here in Scottsdale. Giants have another game tonight over in Glendale. It's a split squad day for them, too. Pagan on number 2. We mentioned that the Phillies will be in town, the first homestand And there's still good seats available to see the slugging Phils and a rematch of the 2010 National League Championship Series. That was the series for the pennant. The Giants beat the best to get to that World Series in 2010. The Phillies will be in town 16th through the 18th. There's a dynamic deal. Few reserve tickets for only $15. And other specials going on for that 3-game series at sfgiants.com. Check it out. Dynamic deal. Few reserve tickets still available at $15 for all 3 games at sfgiants.com. And I think that's a series you really don't want to miss. Get those tickets while you can. Kaiahui, and the count is a ball and a strike. Lincecum, in his longest outing of the spring, he's right around 70 pitches now for the game.
Well, he's carving them up right now. I mean, this is how you want him to look in July. I mean, he has had command of the fastball, a lot of strike ones. He's been able to throw all of his specialty pitches over. And he can do that. That's a rough at bat.
2-2 the count. Kaiahui hit a double back in the 4th inning against him, but then later in the inning got thrown out trying to score on a single to right by Nate Scherholz. 2-2. He puts him away, and maybe the final pitch of the day for Lincecum. 6 strong in the books for Tim Lincecum. Pablo Sandoval coming up. Go Giants baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group. 5-1 Giants as we head to the last of the 6th inning. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow. Dwayne Kuiper over on radio side. He'll be coming back for the 7th. Here to the TV side. Pablo Sandoval leads off against Carrigan of the Athletics. Pablo now batting left-handed. Was grounded out to short and hit a sacrifice fly. And it's 0-1.
Fastball challenge. Sitting on it. That unnerves a hitter. When you're looking for something, you get it. The location, the pitch, the speed, and you swing through it.
Well, came right back again in the inner half and got it by him. 0-2.
Well, you know what he's thinking. Is he going to do it again?
Well, if you were the pitcher, wouldn't you do it again?
Absolutely.
2 strikes. Carrigan. And the high fastball fouled away. You saw the catcher give that high target. Giants have action in their bullpen now. Lincecum with 6 innings in the books. And the guy warming up in the bullpen is pretty well known. That ball is headed toward the Giants bullpen. Way back there. Adios, pelota. And hello, Brian Wilson in the bullpen. Pablo Sandoval launched that one right out to the beard. 6-1 Giants, and Pablo caught up to that one.
Yes, he did. That pitch caught a little bit too much strike zone. And Pablo made him pay. And that was a swing that was more controlled. He took a little out to protect. And that's all the swing he needs. He does not need to overswing. And I think he overswung the first 2 strikes in this at bat. Here, just put the ball in play and look what happens.
Second home run of the spring for Pablo as strike 1 called to Nate Sherholtz. Well, Pablo fell behind Malone 0-2 back in the 4th inning, then hit a sacrifice fly to get a runner home from 3rd. Fell behind here 0-2. A couple of swings and misses. And then he launched one.
This ball might have taken a piece of Brian Wilson. As it caroms off the wall, I think it did catch him in the back leg.
Out of play by Sherholtz.
There's Brian Wilson. Getting fired up. Good Irishman pitching on St. Patrick's Day. There's the building that everybody talks about in spring training. I'll tell you why in a second. Earlier in spring, about day 3, as the hitters got here, Pablo Sandoval hit a ball over that building.
Over the building?
Over the building.
Is that possible?
Well, and it was early in the morning with no wind. And after he did that, he tried to hit one farther for the next 2 weeks, and it really kind of took the rhythm out of his swing. He was trying to crush everything. And I think this at-bat may be an at-bat that Mullins...
Kerrigan throws out Nate Sherholtz, 1 away.
And Mullins, the Giants hitting instructor, will point out to him, you don't have to overswing to do damage. He's like a guy and a half in one uniform anyway. He's so strong. But it's really a great example of defend the strike zone, have bat head control, and just let your natural power take over. You don't have to add to it. You don't have to swing too hard. So he certainly did not in that 2-strike at bat.
Terrio homered his last time. Giants have hit 3 home runs in the first 6 innings today. So Pablo hit one over that building. That building must be 500 feet from home plate.
It's got to be.
Or more.
And it didn't hit the building. It's not like it hit off the top of the roof. It went over the building. It dumbfounded everybody, and they just stopped and stared after the ball was hit.
Where's our guy from AT Park from the left field bleachers who has the tape measure?
Well, you know, as we learned in the Bonds era, it would say 483. It's 462. But we all know better. That thing was way out there. You get an idea. I mean, it's 430 to the green monster in center field here. So you can just imagine how far that building is, and he hit it over the building.
To hit it over, it must have been 550. Yeah. Now, we're about 1,500 feet elevation or so here in Scottsdale. As Terrios thrown out by Timmons.
Now, this is a 2-strike count in his at-bat this inning. He takes a little off. There's no overswing there. You just put that foot down, put yourself in position to use your hands, and look at the balance in the swing. And that is not an overswing. And that is all he needs. And he can take it out any ballpark in any league.
Chris Dominguez now. 0-1. He's 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out. Pablo Sandoval hit one off the sidewall right there. Brian Wilson in the Giants bullpen in this inning. After falling behind, 0-2. Kerrigan in the dirt with that breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, it's similar to a pitcher that throws hard. You know, and every once in a while he'll throw and everything will be right with his mechanics, and boom, he hits 100 miles an hour with speed. Well, then he tries to throw 100 every time, and he loses command, he loses movement, and it just works against him. So,
well, we saw that on occasion with Barry Bonds.
Yeah,
there were times where all of a sudden he had to overswing, and it put him in a funk for a while.
Yeah, he could pull happy, and all of a sudden he'd lose the left field. And him being a left-handed hitter, he'd have to go back and get that side of the field back.
Sometimes I think when you read the stats or you're a stats guy, you think, well, these guys, they've done it over years, they're going to put those stats up. So even if they're in a slump for a while, they'll come out of it. Sometimes that's not the way you look at it when you're actually the one in a slump.
No.
Guys work hard, and there's a lot of concern. There's a lot of reviewing going on, looking at videotapes, extra work in the batting cage. If they're over swinging, they got a little something wrong in their swing. It takes a lot of time, effort, and a lot of stress trying to come out of that. Base hit to right field. Dominguez hitting one solidly the other way for his first hit of the day.
Now, we mentioned the power that Dominguez has, but he also has a glove. He made 2 really nice plays today, pop-ups down the line, and we didn't think he had any chance at all. And he just sort of glides on over. Not a problem. That ball's, we're talking wrestling with the wind as well. And here last inning against Coco Crisp, another nice play, and definitely having fun doing it.
Well, the Athletics are going to make a change. Manager Bob Melvin, number 6, out to the hill with the hook for Carrigan. So he departs, and number 84, Justin Souza, trots in from the Oakland bullpen. The Giants ahead 6-1 here in the 6th inning. Did a couple of home runs against Carrigan while he was in there. Coming up, Fontenot, and we'll be right back.
Say Hey Tuesday is back in 2012, and here's your chance to be part of the excitement. It's the Say Hey Tuesday 6-pack. You get tickets to this Tuesday, April 17th game versus the Phillies, and the Sunday, May 20th game versus the A's, which is Brian Wilson Gnome Day. And it's the biggest giveaway of the year. Then you get to choose any 4 games for the remaining 11 Say Hey Tuesdays. 6 great games for 1 great prize. Log on to sfgiants.com, and you can find out more. That Brian Wilson Gnome is going to be hysterical.
So and the head does not bobble around?
I don't know.
So gnomes don't bobble. First ball swinging against Souza, a base hit for Fontenot. That's his first hit of the game. Over to second goes Dominguez. 2 on, 2 out, a run in. Giants ahead 6-1 in the 6th. And now Chris Stewart will come up. This will be Stewart's first plate appearance. Whiteside began the game back of the plate. Went 0 for 2. Buster Posey caught 5 innings yesterday over in Mesa against the Cubs. Posey, as they've been doing, after he's caught a game, does not catch the next day. He has DH'd the next day once or twice. But he did go over to the minor league camp and get in some serious batting practice earlier. Said he feels great. A slider, a strike on the outside from Souza, and the count is 0-1. Buster will be behind the plate again here tomorrow. And the Giants take on the Dodgers. Or, I beg your pardon, tomorrow they play the Padres. They play the Dodgers tonight over in Glendale. Tomorrow the Giants and Padres here. On the radio only, the KNBR Giants radio network. Check swing. That one is off the glove. It was not a foul. And the pitcher Souza, he may have crossed up catcher Derek Norris. So the count is 0-2. The runners moving to third and second. Dominguez to third and Fontenot to second.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't cross him up, I mean, it's a pass ball. But you can see the confusion in the glove. I think that Norris was anticipating a fastball there. But I think it's kind of a veteran move. If you're a catcher and you miss one, go out there and talk to the pitcher and just make everybody think that it was the pitcher's fault.
Well, you know, you always think that it's the pitcher who threw the wrong pitch, but every once in a while you hear from a catcher, you know, I crossed myself up.
It happens.
I made a call, and then I forgot. I forgot what I called.
When Kurt Manwaring first came up to the big leagues, we had an old staff. We had Mike Lacoste and Don Robinson and Rick Russell, and myself, Dave Dravecki, and each one of us had different signs. Well, he didn't remember all the signs, so he just put down fingers till we start throwing, then he'd just catch what we threw. So he would always get crossed up, but he always caught it, if that makes sense.
0-2. I remember that in the World Series, that ball got by Norris again, and a run has scored. Over to third goes Fontenot. So he had a pass ball, and I don't know if this is another pass ball or a wild pitch, but it was not a very good job of ball blocking there by Norris.
And on the runner at third base, I mean, you've got to be able to get a lot of glove on a ball that doesn't bounce. And for Norris, that's something that he'll think about for a while. That's a no-no, especially with the runner on third.
7-1 Giants. 1-2 to Stewart. Souza. The fastball skied into center. Crisp. And that's the inning. Dwayne Kuiper coming over from radio side. Pablo Sandoval goes bye-bye, baby. 7-1 Giants. Brian Wilson is coming in.
Sharks are taking on the Red Wings. It's Saturday night on ice. You'll see right on Comcast Sportsnet California. Pre-game live starts at 7. Tonight, you'll see the game start at 7:30. That's where they drop the puck. Sharks are back in the tank, and every point counts as they make their push towards the playoffs against the Red Wings. Complete Sharks coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. The home of Sharks hockey is Comcast Sportsnet. As we mentioned, 7-1 Giants, top of the 7th. Once again, here is Dwayne Kuiper.
All right, Mikey. Brian Wilson on the hill.
It's great when he trotted in from the bullpen. This whole place erupted in an ovation.
So Wilson facing Josh Donaldson, and he throws a strike. Yeah, a little Sharks karma, huh? For that 8th spot. Maybe
yeah, we need to get the Sharks going.
Let's go. Here's Wilson to Stewart, and it's down low. 1 ball and 1 strike. They got the spirit.
Oh, yeah.
They got the Brian Wilson spirit.
It's easy to get.
Here's the 1-1 offering. So it's pretty amazing when you think, how is it possible that Brian Wilson could be in better shape than last year? How is that possible? Well, he thinks he is. There's a strike to make it 2-2. I know he's lost like 10 or 12 pounds. We're trying to figure out where that came from. Not the information, but where the pounds came from.
He is cut, I'll say that.
Two pitch. Got him.
Oh, he just aired him out. And here's that entrance we talked about. And you can just start to sense the ovation as he came across the field. You can see everybody standing up. And that'll pump you up. And he thrives on it.
So here's Derek Martin. We were talking to Carl Cochin yesterday, the strength conditioning coach. He said he works out to win. Works out to win.
He went on and on about as to how tenacious he was in the weight room, and that was the word he used. He goes, the guy is just a gorilla. He never makes an excuse. He never goes into it slowly. It's just charge. And this year he changed his format. Many of you maybe have read about it. He's not doing the heavy lifting that he was doing prior to this season. He's more cardio type of conditioning. But he does leg work that we just look at it and shake our heads. He is in tremendous condition, and that's basically how he has always approached his career.
So a 4-pitch walk to Barton. Here's Derek Norris. Norris is doubled and he's bounced out. Here's the pitch. Fastball is high. 1 ball and no strikes.
But here in spring training at Scottsdale Stadium, they have a huge weight room, and you'll see all the players in there, and they're out working out, and you can't help but notice Wilson. And if you're a young player and you're watching one of the stars of this club work out as hard as he does, that is contagious. It makes you want to do the same thing. And that weight room it's a hive of activity.
I don't remember it being a hive of activity when we played. I think we put our hot dogs on the weights.
Oh, he ate our pizza. Different era. I mean, that was an era where they said, don't lift weights. Don't do push-ups.
Yeah, we were getting salt tablets. There's a strike to Norris.
That's right. Don't forget to take your salt tabs.
Seriously, think about that.
They're taking 1,500 milligrams of salt tablets.
And then we also thought that the ethyl chloride worked.
Yeah. Amazing. What an era. It's amazing we lived.
2-1 pitch is outside, 3-1.
And then we'd hop out there in the AstroTurf on a Sunday in St. Louis where it was 140 degrees.
With a cabbage leaf on our head.
Thinking we were bulletproof.
Hey, this works. Okay, let's get some cabbage and put it on our head.
Oh, my Lord.
High and foul. Think about all those years and nobody just dropped dead on the field.
Yeah. Must have been the salt pills. This is the era of nutrition, of specialized conditioning.
And information.
Big time information.
3-2 pitch. Here it is to Norris. And Norris bounces it to third. Sandoval around the horn. And he throws it past Terrio. And I don't think that was as much a throw as it was Terrio, just not catching. All right, let's check this out.
Well, everything looks pretty simple there, and you're right.
Hey, you got to get one, right? Catch it and stay on the bag.
I think he was guessing fastball and got a slider.
Yeah, well, that's a perfect indication of how you can get to the bag as a second baseman, and if you start to anticipate a perfect throw, that's just about the time you're not going to get it. Here's Timmons, who takes the pitch down low. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, up until now, Wilson's had a pretty easy time of spring training. And now he's being asked to dig deep. And he does have a pitch count limit at 1 inning of 25.
At the knees.
You need to have some stress innings in spring training to really build your strength, and he's getting one now.
One ball and 1 strike. High and foul, 1-2.
Then cut loose with fastballs, cutters, sliders. It's amazing to see guys go to their mouth now on the mound. That's a rule that changed a couple years ago. You can go to your mouth provided you wipe it off after you go to your mouth, and it's not a balk.
This is the 19th pitch for Wilson, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, the whole point is in spring training, you don't want Wilson to have every inning be an easy inning.
You don't. You don't want any pitcher to have that easy of a spring.
And clearly that's what Theriot was thinking when he let that ball go into right field.
I think under instruction for the pitching coach.
Foul back. It stays at 2-2. Giants 7, Athletics 1. There's the pitching coach.
Well, and Dave Righetti's got some gut wrench going right now because of the pitch count.
Got him.
Well, he gets that ball down around the knees. It's got second stage movement. 2 times he's gotten strikeouts in this inning. Once from Donaldson and here with Timmons. And he just abuses it. That ball's by him. And that's the type of life you want to see on a fastball. And more life down around the knees than up around the letters.
So here's Cowgill. Runners at the corners with 2 down. Sounded like a strike, then it's 0-1. We're pretty close here, so you can hear the pop of Stewart's glove. High and foul, 0-2.
93-mile-an-hour fastball. He's topped out at 96 this spring. Says he's comfortable right around low 90s just because he's not trying to maximize every pitch as he builds his arm strength.
Oh, 2. Low and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
95 there. So in these 3 pitches, he's throwing 91, 93, 95.
A little flare out into right center field. It's going to fall. So Cowgill's going to get a hit. The throw goes into second base. Scoring is Barton, and it's now 7-2. So here's Sogard.
He's right at the 25 pitch count. So he is going to extend beyond what they had set a limit for.
And a strike to Sogard, who's 0 for 3. One ball and 1 strike. The type of pitches that he's throwing, I mean, can that go into the decision as to extend them?
Well, if you guys throw more fastballs, you think he's taking a little less out of his arm. He's throwing a lot of sliders, a lot of cutters. They take more out of your arm. But I got to believe this will probably be his last hitter.
I don't think so.
And you always want to build positive. And you want to let a guy who's a closer finish an inning. But you certainly don't want to expose him to injury. But, you know, when you're getting a guy ready, especially a guy who's coming off of an injury like Wilson had last year as he strained his elbow, there comes a point in time where you have to let him go. You got to let him ride the horse.
Should be pitch number 31.
Because you know he's going to get challenged in the season. And Wilson, it's been his history that he's had some innings where he's done this very thing. He's run the pitch total up.
3-2 pitch. Runner goes. Top foul. He did not come in with a fastball. The runner, Cowgill, will head back to first base. A run in here in the 7th. It would have been more of a clean inning had the Giants not committed an error, but it'll probably happen during the season where the Giants will commit an error. Maybe.
Yeah, you gotta pitch through those things. It's part of the game.
Topped foul again right at the very end. And Wilson will throw another pitch here in the 7th inning.
But you get a sense of the feeling that the manager has, that the pitching coach has, that the general manager has, when you got one of your key people who's, you know, being rebuilt basically in a spring following a season where he's had an injury. And you can see it on the faces.
Foul back. Well, if you thought this was going to be a quick at bat to Sogard, you'd be wrong. This will be the 9th pitch coming up in this at bat. 3-2, and he walked him. And here comes the manager. Well, Wilson's going to depart. You get a smile from the closer, and we got a new pitcher coming in, and he's an old friend. And we'll tell you about it when we come back. 7-2 Giants. Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area as we come to you from Scottsdale Stadium. Good ball game, A's and Giants. I mentioned an old friend from the minor league camp. It's Scott Munter. So Scott Munter is on the hill facing Coco Crisp with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And the first pitch is high, 1 ball and no strikes.
Big Scott Munter, 6'6", 260-pounders, no longer a baby, 32 years old. If you remember, Munter was the guy that had the power sinker. Last pitch for the Giants in 2007.
Chris fouls it straight back over the stadium. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
One thing you always used to worry about with Munter was him getting high enough to get into a good slot to where he could control his release point. Too often the elbow would get below the shoulder, he'd get pushed in his delivery, and he'd lose command. He'd have a bad problem with his control of that sinker. But now he's really got that arm slot up much higher, much more consistent to the strike zone.
On the ground, foul. This was Brian Wilson when Bruce Bochy came out to get him, and Bruce Bochy must have said something to him that made him smile.
People don't know that about Bruce Bochy, but I mean, he's got a great sense of humor.
Very dry, very funny. And he will buy a round. Hit high into center field for Pagan. Side retired. A run for the A's. Giants are coming up 7-2 San Francisco. (7-2) Giants as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Giants have hit 3 home runs in this game. Pagan hit a home run in the 5th inning as this one was down the right field line. Ball just kept going and going. First home run of the spring for Pagan.
Well, it's a great day to hit. I mean, the wind really has picked up as the game has gone on, and it's become a wind that has favored the hitters, but still a good at bat. I mean, you still have to square it up. I mean, you may get some carry and balls that might not go out normally because of the wind. You do get one, but hey, you still have to have a good at bat. There you see the wind. And tomorrow it's supposed to be 40-mile-an-hour winds coming through the valley here. That'll be fun. Entertaining.
With rain?
Could be wet.
A little damp. So we're playing a Candlestick tomorrow.
Yep, Candlestick game tomorrow.
De Los Santos facing Pagan. 1 ball and no strikes.
Faustino De Los Santos. Originally came up with the White Sox.
Foul back sounds like he throws hard. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I just assume that a guy who's from the Dominican Republic could throw rockets.
Yep. Absolutely.
And De Los Santos from the Dominican Republic. Got a little big league time, 97 days. That's what he's done this spring. Had a good spring.
Down low to Pagan, 2 for 3.
I mean, have you ever seen a knuckleballer come out of the Dominican Republic? Nope.
Two balls and 1 strike. Saw a Cuban-born player throw a 59-mile-an-hour curveball.
Mike Cuellar?
Ravon Hernandez.
Yep.
Also saw him throw 90 when he was young. Two and 2 to Pagan. And a full count.
Got her spring training lid. Got her shades.
Very happy.
Life is good today.
Got him. Belt high fastball, 1 out.
Well, it's spring training for umpires, too. Ron Copa does have a big strike zone, but that's a little high.
Freddie Sanchez takes high, 1 for 3.
Dan Gladden, who used to be our teammate, who's now broadcaster with the Minnesota Twins, used to always have a great line in spring training. When he would get rung out by a pitch he didn't think that was in the strike zone, he'd turn around, look at the umpire, and said, "Is that going to be a strike during the season?"
Yeah. Sanchez breaks his bat and pops this one to Barton.
It was not a comment that was well received by the umpires. I want you to know that.
Well, he also at some point during the season would turn around and say, "Look, that's a strike in Arizona, but not here."
He wouldn't forget him. Of course, back in his generation, there were 2 sets of umpires. There were one in the National League, one in the American League, and you really got to know your umpires. Now you don't have that. The Umpires Union covers both leagues.
Here's Juan Perez hitting for the first time.
And because of that, this generation player does not quite have the same relationship that it had in previous generations.
On the ground towards the hole. Cutting it off is Donaldson. His throw not in time as Perez beats it out.
Well, it would have been a nice play. Donaldson goes well to his left. A little bit of a bobble, though, allows the speedy Perez to leg it out. But this is the type of thing that shows up. Man, that's a guy busting out of the box right there. Those are things that get noticed by your coaching staff.
Here's Sandoval, hit a long home run in the 6th inning. Foul off the backstop. Well, let's go back a second to what you said about the umpires. Yeah, the umpires back then had a little bit more personality, and I think Major League Baseball didn't want umpires to have the big personality. You know, be maybe seen and not heard. And in some ways, I like those guys, and I like their personality.
Every once in a while, you'd see an umpire on the Johnny Carson show. When's the last time you saw an umpire on a late-night talk show?
It's true. You know, umpires started writing books, and then it was like, oh. In the dirt, moving down to second will be Perez. We just lost one of my all-time favorites, and that was Harry Wendelstedt.
Yeah.
I loved Harry.
Harry, good man.
And he didn't have a large personality, but he had a good personality. And you could argue with him, and you could have some fun with him, and then when he told you to shut up, then you had to shut up.
Immediately.
1-2 pitch to Sandoval, swinging a foul. I remember Harry threw out Frank Robinson one day, and I thought really that he he'd pulled every muscle in his stomach. Thought he had like a hernia after he threw him out. Tore his rotator cuff, stretched the neck muscle.
He threw me out of a game in Cincinnati.
How the heck did you get thrown out of a game? You were cutting the ball. You were cheating.
No, I gave him like 12 hits in 3 innings, and Cesar Cedeno came up, and I figured, the heck with it, and I drilled him. And he kicked me out.
So Harry took that personal?
I said, Harry, I've been getting torched out here. I deserve to get one. And he goes, yeah, I did. You got one. Now get out of here before your ERA goes up any higher. So he thought he was doing me a favor.
And you know what? He didn't hold it against you.
No, but I think Cesar Cedeno did.
Yeah, well, it's possible. On the ground to second, right there is Spina, and he throws him out to end the inning. All right, Giants with a hit. They lead 1 through 7. 7-2 Giants.
...2012, and here's your chance to be part of the excitement. It's the Say Hey Tuesday six-pack. Get tickets to the Tuesday, April 17th game versus the Phillies and the Sunday, May 20th game versus the A's, which, by the way, is Brian Wilson Gnome Day, the biggest giveaway of the year. Then choose any 4 games from the remaining 11 Say Hey Tuesdays. 6 great games for 1 great prize. Log on to sfgiants.com, and you can find out more.
It's my brother Glenn's birthday that day, and I know now what I'm going to get him.
You're going to get him a Brian Wilson Gnome.
Maybe a couple of them.
They're hysterical. Yep, he's got the spirit.
The guy that we talk to every morning on KMBR, Brian Murphy, is here today, and he is out on the grass somewhere. So if we spot Brian Murphy, we'll absolutely show him, because right now he is definitely wearing the lampshade.
Well, hey, Brian Murphy on St. Patrick's Day, I can tell you right now, he's well lubricated. Tyler Graham, the new center fielder now for the Giants, and they have a new pitcher, Javier Lopez, the lefty, coming in.
Brian Murphy on St. Patrick's Day. Josh Reddick will face Javier Lopez. Remember the one Super Bowl where they put a camera on Deion Sanders the whole game, wherever he went? Wherever he went, they had a camera on him. So that I told Murph that's exactly what Comcast was going to do with him. Problem is, we can't find him. Skied, foul territory. Sandoval in the wind will push it out of play, and here's Amy G.
Well, thanks, Dwayne. Sitting here with Angel Pagan, one of the newest Giants, and so far one of the nicest. You have done every single interview request that we've asked for. Thank you. And what a day for you. Known for your speed and not so much for your pop, but today you went yard. Take us through that at bat, your first home run of this spring training.
Well, my second at bat, I was facing a lefty, then all of a sudden, a righty comes in and he threw pretty hard, and he gave me the first pitch for a strike, and I thought he was going to throw another fastball, but he hung a changeup right there, and there you go. No, I just got my foot.
He likes to look at that.
I just got my foot down on time, and I got a good swing on it.
Well,
you know, the long ball isn't a huge part of the Giants' game. Speed is going to be this year, and you're a big part of that. And so far, the Giants lead the majors this spring training with stolen bases. You know, how important is that going to be this year, Angel?
It's very important. You know, we all know we have a great, you know, lineup. You know, we got a lot of power, but that's what they came, you know, in the offseason and brought some speed guys like myself and Melky to get ourselves in the scoring position for the big boys and put some points on the board early. And I think if we can do that, we're going to be all right.
How anxious are you getting for opening day?
I'm not anxious. I'm ready. I feel good. You know, I'm getting a lot of work done over here. Obviously, you know, it's a spring training. It doesn't count, but you still got to, you know, come over here, work hard, and try to have the best games you can have. And hopefully you'll be ready for day one.
We interviewed Gregor Blanco earlier in the game and posed this question to him as I ask you, what's it like for you to walk into the Giants clubhouse every day and look at the legends that are sitting there, you know, with Willie Mays and Felipe Alou and, you know, the information that you can tap into daily?
It's such a privilege, you know. We all, you know, back in Puerto Rico, we had Roberto Clemente, you know, and it's a privilege to know him that play with Roberto, you know, and in this era, you know, those important guys that built the house for us to follow. You know, they were a great example. They play in some of the toughest time in baseball, and they were pretty good at. And definitely, you know, one day around, I try to pick their brain a little bit, you know, see how they get ready for the game, and you know, see if I can, you know, they can help me a little bit in my game.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure so far. We look forward to seeing what you can do during the season. Angel Pagan, guys.
All right. Thanks, Amy, and thanks to Angel Pagan. Very well spoken, young man. And I'm not sure I've ever heard someone put it the way Pagan just put it about the guys that played in the 60s and the early 70s.
Well, I like it when a guy's aware of the history of this game.
Yeah.
And he is.
Hit in the left center field off the bat of Josh Donaldson. And this one is going to hit halfway up the wall. And Donaldson's going to be aboard with 2 outs.
How about that play that Pablo Sandoval made going to his left? That's as much range as I've ever seen him cover fielding a ground ball. Now this is the ball off the left-handed bat. Look how far he goes over right in front of Fondo. And with an off-balance strike over to Dominguez at first base. Nice play.
Very nice play. Here's Michael Spina, the second baseman. Lopez facing his 4th hitter here in the 8th inning. And he throws the first pitch wide. 1 ball and no strikes. Sellout crowd here at Scottsdale Stadium. The wind is definitely kicked up since the start of this game. Low, 2-0. And as we mentioned earlier, there is some stuff coming in weather-wise later on tonight.
A lot of that stuff that's been in San Francisco the last week is finding its way here to the Valley of the Sun. And that wind is bringing it in.
And we do like to cross promote, and tomorrow Mike and I and John will be on KNBR. First pitch will be at 1:05. We'll be on the air about 15 minutes prior to that with the pregame show. Line drive. Diving is the second baseman, Terrio, and that'll end the inning. Giants are coming up 7-2 San Francisco. 7-2 Giants as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the play that ended the A's potential rally was this one.
Well, nice at bat, but Ryan Theriot, good jump. Couple steps to his left, go onto a belly dive and gobble it up. Nice play.
So Javier Lopez appreciating that. His inning is a clean inning. It is St. Patrick's Day. We've got lots of green here at the park. We got lots of orange. We got lots of black. We had dinner downtown Scottsdale last night, and those were the same colors we saw walking around. This town was jumping. Spring training has become a destination. TJ Walsh is the new pitcher. And Nate Sherholtz will be the first hitter. Sandoval, very pleased.
He always seems to be wearing that smile. TJ Walsh, the new pitcher for the A's.
W-A-L-Z as Sherholtz takes a strike. Nate would like to have that one back. It's 0-2. On deck is Theriot. On the ground up the middle. Spina moves to his right and throws out Sherholtz. One out. We do have a couple of changes. Jeff Fiorentino is in left field. Calgill moves from left to center. So Fiorentino is in left as Theriot takes a pitch for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. We do have a new right fielder as well, and that's Jeremy Barfield. Theriot hit a home run in the 4th inning. Walsh's pitch is high. 3 balls and no strikes.
Walsh out of the University of Kansas. Played for Rich Price there.
3-0 pitch to Theriot is an inside corner strike. And if you're Theriot, you may act like you're unhappy with that call, but you want to hit.
Yeah, you'll take a walk during the season, but spring training, swing it.
Hit this one in the left center field, but Calgill is moving over and under. 2 outs. And here's Dominguez. Dominguez got a base hit. He picked that hit up in the 6th inning. Walsh throws, swinging a line drive, leaping it's short as Dusty Coleman. Actually, he throws him out. A lot of things going on. And that retires the side.
by Grinds Coffee Pouches, the healthy alternative to tobacco. For professional baseball, visit getgrinds.com today.
(7-2) Giants as we go to the 9th inning on St. Patrick's Day. Santiago Casilla is going to try to close it out.
There you see the numbers for Casilla. It's been a perfect spring for him. Just 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 base runners allowed in 5 innings, 1 strikeout. Get a chance to try and get the last 3 outs in this game. This game has gone by quickly today.
Here's Norris. It's Dominguez who puts it away. He's pretty good on pop-ups.
He's got pop-ups down. As soon as that ball was hit, I was watching Terry over at second base, and he never saw it.
He did the candlestick. You got it.
And immediately went over to cover first base. Veteran move. Watch second base. You got it, not me. Out of here. I saw you do that a few times.
I tell you what, catching that ball, Dominguez looked just like Derek Lee moving over.
He did.
Big, long, and tall as the fastball is high to Wes Timmons.
Well, Dominguez is 6'5". What is Derek Lee?
About the same, yeah.
But yes, that or more. But yeah, similar in their approach to pop-ups.
The former A, Casilla, with a strike at the knees, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jammed. Fontenot. 2 down. Connor Crumbliss is going to be the pinch hitter. Somebody's neighbor has to be.
Could be.
It's got to be Billy Bean's neighbor in Danville. Connor Crumbliss. I only say that because I put my neighbor in many years ago on radio and played a half inning. Nobody knew any different.
How'd he do?
He caught a fly ball. I wasn't going to let him hit. That wouldn't be good. Danny Navarro. Down low, 1 ball and 1 strike. When Wilson was down last year, the last month and a half, most of the save opportunities were given to Santiago Casilla. And I shouldn't do this, but if memory serves me correct, he was 8 for 8.
He did well. Enjoyed it.
At the knees, 2 and 2.
Those are different outs to get. And nothing similar to the out you get in the first inning compared to the out you get in the 9th inning. When it's a close game, you're trying to protect the lead.
Line drive, base hit for Crumbliss. Now this is Dusty Coleman.
Connor Crumbliss actually came out of Emporia State University.
Coleman pops this one down the right field line. That'll be a souvenir, and it's no balls and 1 strike.
Emporia State. Didn't they beat Duke yesterday?
Yeah, I think they did. And after that, they beat Missouri.
And Michigan. You can throw Notre Dame in there, too.
Yeah, it was not a good day for some of the big boys in basketball.
An amazing tournament so far.
For March Madness. It was definitely March Madness. It was torture for some of those big schools. We've been doing this, so we have no idea what's happening today. But there's no way today could be or yesterday could be duplicated today.
Hey, Willie Mays is here. In the hearts of a lot of people.
Two and one to Coleman. Foul back.
It was great to see some of the footage of the meeting that they had at the Giants clubhouse. John Miller hosted the Hall of Famers, Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, Gaylord Perry.
How many bat boys has Murph broke in?
Mike Murphy breaking in a couple of new ones today. Ben and Jake Slaughter.
Two and two.
It's great. You see some of the broke-in bat boys. And now they're doctors and lawyers.
That's the ball game. As Casilla gets the strikeout to Dusty Coleman. So today, here in Scottsdale on St. Patrick's Day, the San Francisco Giants defeat in a split squad game. They defeat the Oakland A's by a final of 7-2. A good outing for Lincecum, and the Giants hit 3 home runs. We'll have more, so stay with us. We'll have more right after these messages.
Meet the Mazda Crosser.